Hi guys, welcome. And as you can see, my setup's a little bit different today, and that's because I will be trying to do my first cleaning video. So it's gonna be part tutorial, but please take it with a grain of salt. This is what I do. Without further ado, let's clean up this Yeoh bag. If you saw my unboxing of this bag, I spotted some stains, and I did mention that I might be doing a leather cleaning conditioning video, so here it is. First off, this is the original condition of the bag, and it's not terrible, but obviously there are some spots here. Overall, it doesn't smell like mold, so I'm not gonna treat it for mold. I'm just gonna do a cleaning and conditioning. So I do have a short about cleaning and conditioning this Vespa bag, also from Hermes. This one came with mold. It was described as being moldy, so I did do a once over of the exterior with rubbing alcohol. That is not recommended for most bags, but this is buffalo leather, so I did check online before doing that. Buffalo leather is very durable. Overall, alcohol is not good for leather, but you do need it sometimes to clean mold off. I should mention that this one is also buffalo leather. So the body of the bag is buffalo leather, though the top part is not. It's either Swift or Barenia. Excuse me, I'm not going to touch the Barenia. For now, it looks fine. It doesn't look dirty, but I will be cleaning up the body of the bag. All right, so quick condition before. Okay, let's start with, so this is actually my leather cleaning kit. I know, it's kind of crazy. I don't use all of it, but this is where I keep all of it just in case. Most of the stuff I use is on the top. So today I will be using, first off, I will be using gloves because I don't like to get saddle soap on my fingers. It's actually very drying. I have some washcloths. I tend to favor microfiber cloths, and then I will be using water. This is just regular water. This is the saddle soap that I use. I can also show it here. And I like it because it's clear. So there are saddle soaps that are darker, that's meant for darker leathers, but I find that this one is great for general use. This is just water. I just refilled it. So I am going to start with, actually, let me start with taking off the top. So since I'm only working with the bottom piece here, the nice thing about the Yeoh bag is that the top part completely comes off. All right, so this is the bag that I'm cleaning. Let's start off with the worst stain, which is right there. Okay, so I take my cloth and I dip it in water, squeeze out the excess, and then just rub it in the saddle soap here. Okay, get a little bit of that on here, and then let's do it this way. So granted, best practices, which don't do what I do, just do what I say. Best practices is you want to do this in a hidden location, usually on the bottom like this. Here, we just do a spot, basically a spot treatment, because you don't know how the leather is going to react to the saddle soap. But because I've done this with the buffalo leather in the past, I feel fairly confident that it will be fine. And then I just rub off the excess. And yeah, it looks like it got off most of the crusty parts. I do see that. This is probably a mixture of, it's not just dirt grime, is I think partly the color comes off as well, which happens sometimes, not very often for Hermes. I do find that it happens for the row bags once in a while. So I am very careful when I clean my row bags. I don't do it unless it really needs it. But yeah, usually when it's the color of the leather, you know that that's just the paint coming off. And I do see that there's a little bit of a wet spot here that won't come off. So we'll see how that does, but I'll leave it for now. And I'll just do the rest of the bag really quickly since it doesn't look that dirty everywhere else. So that was that one side. Gonna go back in with the water. Not too bad. The corners on this bag is actually not that worn, so that's a good sign. Again, this came from Japan. I bought it through Brandier, which is my favorite Japanese reseller. I have their eBay store linked below. But Japanese people, they take good care of their stuff, you know, especially luxury items. All right, so I can see that some of the wet spots will darken the leather here. We'll see how that dries. I'm not really too concerned about the dark spots. Oh, I should also mention I am not any sort of like certified leather cleaner, or you know, I do this for my own bags. I did a little bit of research. I actually recommend, and I'll put it here, there is a purse forum thread by Doc Ride, who is pretty famous in the purse forum world, I think, like for Hermes anyways. And she is a equestrian, is that a word? Is a horse rider, and she cleans saddles, and then she also rehabs Hermes bags on the side. So yeah, I see some dark spots here. We'll see how that goes. But overall, that is it for the saddle soap. And so what I usually do is I just wait for it to dry, fully dry, sometimes 24 hours. So of course I will pause this video here. We'll continue on with my next step, which is I usually use leather CPR. I also did recently get apple leather care, and I am interested in the difference between the two. I was actually gonna check the ingredient list, but I actually don't see ingredients on here, so we'll see if I can find it. But yeah, leather CPR, I mean, it's a very light lotion. I recommend pretty much light cleaners. I also do have, this one is Chamberlain's Leather Milk. So this actually got sent to me quite a while ago. I used to use it quite a bit more than I do now. Since getting leather CPR, I kind of go for that more just because it's lighter and there's no, here's the thing, leather CPR has very little scent. I don't like smells to my leather bags. Sure, most of these will dry down and the smell will kind of go away. Chamberlain's, yeah, has just this smell to it. If you like the smell of the Songmont Song bag, where it has a little bit of leather cleaner smell, that's what I talk about. This is the leather cleaner that I'm talking about. It smells like that. Also in my kit is this foaming cleanser. So I usually use this on fabric, but this can also be used on leather. I mean, I could have used it for this, but since I know this is buffalo leather and durable, I just decided to go ahead and use the saddle soap, which is what I normally use. And then I also have the Sapphire Renovator, which I usually use for box leather. It is meant for more delicate leathers. It does smell quite a bit and is also it's like an oilier consistency. Also, I should mention, if you're interested in leather cleaning, I did find Autumn Beckman's review of like 15 leather cleaners very interesting. I think part of the problem with her video is just that she uses all on vachetta leather. That's untreated leather, which I mean, maybe that's good. You can kind of get an idea of what each thing does, but she kind of lumps them all together like saddle soap with oilier conditioners, cleaners and conditioners. They kind of sometimes vary. So these are mostly conditioners here. These are all conditioners. Of course, saddle soap is a cleaner. That's a cleaner. So these are the ones that I've been using. These are all different kind of like conditioners. And then I would say these, oh no, don't fall over. Yikes. These are the cleaners. These are the cleaners I use. So this can also be used for leather, but I usually use this for leather. That, and then last but not least, I just bought this apple cleaner. It's both a conditioner and a cleaner. I have yet to use it. I might try it. Should I try it on that bag? Or should I go with my, I'll just go with my tried and true for now. But yes, this one, I know in full transparency, or in all honesty, I bought it because of Autumn Beckman's video. I did have it back in the day. I think I used it for my Balenciaga bags, but I have not used it since. Hi guys, so it's been about 24 hours since I last did the cleaning with the saddle soap. If you take a look at the bag now, it looks not bad. So it is, you can still see the stain that was here, but at least there's no longer any crusty parts. So that's great, right? And most of the darker spots have faded. though not all. And so saddle soap is a type of, I think it's a basic sort of, you know, acid versus basic. It is a basic type of, I wouldn't say solution, but soap, which makes sense. Most soaps are basic. So because of that, it does dry out all leather. So all kinds of leathers. And so you want to moisturize it after you clean it. And this is kind of a rule of thumb for every single time you actually use any sort of soap or cleansing cleaner solution. You're going to want to moisturize after that. So what I use is leather CPR. So it is a very light lotion. I got mine through Amazon. Very affordable solution. It's actually meant for more than just bags. It's, you know, furniture, car seats, jackets, shoes. And it does say dermatology tested. It does not irritate skin. So I actually use this without gloves, which is fine because it is basically a lotion. Some people don't like it because they don't think it's thick enough, but I think it's moisturizing enough. It's not like I'm looking to add a whole ton of moisture back. Taking off my rings because I'm going to use my bare hands here. I use this the most because there's very little smell, little to no smell. So a lot of leather conditioners tend to be a little smelly. So I've seen grams where they just pour it like this, which you can. Obviously, you're going to want to test it in a hidden spot first, which I've already done. And then this is just what I do. I just rub it in there. You know, sometimes if you do put too much moisturizer, you're going to want to spread it around to other spots. It might darken like this here. So I can see some dark spots coming out with the moisture, but leather CPR is a very light formula. It should not be darkening your leather. Another way I do it is I put it directly into my hand like a lotion, kind of rub it around. I do feel like that gives me a little more control over how much goes on there instead of like a, you know, just a random pour onto the leather. I'm probably going to do all the sides and I'll leave the bottom for last or for another day possibly, because I want to be able to rest it on the bottom and not have the moisture be on the bottom and make it sticky. So I'll let it air dry like this for probably another 24 hours before I go ahead and I'll do the bottom. It's a little streaky, but it will dry down. And then afterwards you can take, I think you can even take it while it's still a little wet and kind of brush it off with a horsehair brush. That could get off some of the excess lotion if you do put too much on there. So that works. I also could do it once it's dried. So we'll see how that dries down and give you an update on how that goes. See you again in another 24 hours or more. We'll see. Bye. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found this video interesting or informative. Like I said, I'm not an expert, but this is what I do to clean my bags. As always, good rule of thumb is 1, do your research, go online, check out some of the places that I've recommended, and 2, also check your cleaner instructions, what you end up using, like whether it's Apple or leather CPR. Go do some research on that as well. And then lastly, always do a little bit of spot testing before you start. But overall, I think it's very easy to maintain leather bags. Honestly, you don't need to have as much gear as I do. I just really like to have all of it together in a kit. I also really like to experiment and try different things. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.